Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for all your patience and support. It's been a very hectic month and I am so glad to be back. So I am going to be doing a tutorial that I've been getting a lot of requests about, a hair tutorial. As you guys know, I am a licensed cosmetologist. I've been doing hair for 19 years, a long time. But I would never tell you. I was like 5 when I started. I am doing a hair tutorial with a curling iron. I know that a lot of you guys have little to no experience with curling iron, so I'm going to simplify this the best way possible for you. As you can see, I'm starting off with my natural hair. The only thing that I have prepped my hair with is the Keratin Silk Infusion. It's amazing. I've used this forever and ever and ever. They also have the red and silver one. Amazing. I use it every single time I shampoo. I basically shampoo twice. I apply my conditioner from ponytail down. So from here down is where all my conditioner goes, because the natural oils in your scalp, they take care of that part of your hair. So it's doing its own conditioning, so then you don't have buildup, residue, and oily scalp, so you can keep your style in for as long as you possibly can or want. Sometimes I shampoo my hair once a week, sometimes I shampoo it twice a week, just depending on how busy I am and how often I am sweating and working out and things like that. If you have my type of hair, which is wavy, curly hair, is to shampoo the night before. Let your hair air dry. Now it has all this natural curl and natural wave still in it. The frizz isn't as pronounced, only because after I get out of the shower, I put in my product and then I kind of give it a nice little bun, tighten it up, and let it air dry. I let it out when it's time to go to sleep so I can get the roots dry, and then I wake up and this is what it looks like. So it's big, it's frizzy, and that's what we're gonna get rid of. So let us begin. So first things first, you want your hair prepped. You always want oil in it. You always want some sort of protectant that's gonna protect your hair from being hit with a lot of heat. So right now I have my curling iron at about 400. I never go higher than 400. I mean, even for people who have really resistant textured hair, they don't need anything higher than 400. The second that you smell hair burning, you're done. Like, you're about to ruin your hair. You're about to fry it. Don't do it. It's not repairable after you fry it. Sorry. So be careful with your hair. Once you smell the burn, that means it's too hot for your hair. You're ruining your hair. It doesn't mean that it's working better, working faster, anything like that. So please get that myth out of your head. What we want to do is we want to just kind of like think of a system. Just like makeup, hair is exactly the same. You have to think of a system that is going to work every single time, that you start repeating until it becomes this habit, and you are just like, oh my god, I got this. This is gonna be so easy for me today because I keep repeating the same thing. Now my hands know what to do. I have muscle memory. My arms aren't as sore. Like, everything starts to work out after a while, because no matter what, this is all gonna take practice. You're not gonna get it the first time. You're probably not gonna get it the second time. It's probably gonna take you a week, a month. For me, it took a really long time. I know that you're using different muscles and you're using different hand positions and different arm positions when you're doing your own. So that's why I wanted to do this tutorial for you, so you could actually see a professional struggling just as much as you. So I want you to keep a couple of things in mind. I want you to think about the head in sections, okay? From the top of the ear to the top of the ear connected. All of this is the front of your head. That's what you want to think of. The front of your head is ear to ear, and the front of that. That's the front of your head. The back of the head obviously is behind that line. Center part, basically you're thinking of quadrants, okay? You got 4 sections in your hair. If you try to keep that visual, I got a lot of lip gloss on today. I want to try my new color that I got from MAC. I'm not really a big glossy fan, but hey, it's all good. Yeah, we always have to try new stuff. All right, so back to hair. You want to imagine your hair in quadrants. Four people. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 sections, okay? That's how you want to kind of think of how you're going to attack your hair, okay? Like, how are you going to get started? How are you going to get this going? What's the process? I always recommend starting in the back. Therefore, your arms are less tired once you get to the front, and it's just easier. So I'm going to section out my hair. I'm going to be back, and then we'll get started again. All right, guys. So basically, I just sectioned the back of my head. I didn't make a perfect line, as you can see. It doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, I literally just kind of went like this and connected my fingers in the middle, put the rest up in a ponytail. I think clips are good if you have short hair, but if you have really long, thick hair, throwing it up in a little messy bun is so much easier. So what you want to do is you want to think of your head, like I was telling you guys, in that quadrant, that section. Like, you want to think one section here, one section here, one section here, one section here. And when you start breaking your hair down that way, it's so much easier. So I'm going to show you guys this real simple, easy way to curl hair that I think is great, because I think, like, right now we're going into a trend where you can have messy curls. They don't have to be perfect curls. I'm not a big fan of ringlets. So let's kind of get started, and let me show you how you position your head, you position your arms, you position your body in general, okay? So what we're gonna do is I basically split that section in half, blah. And now I'm gonna split this section in half, okay? I never really wanna take anything thicker than the curling iron that I'm using, and when I say that, I mean, I don't want my section being wider than the actual size of my curling iron. So I have a pretty large curling iron. This is about a, which one is this? This is 1.25 inch wand. Well, it's not a wand, it's a Marcel iron. And I know a lot of you guys have, you know, your spring irons, which is awesome. And they work great, don't get me wrong, but I'm a pro, and I've been using this curling iron my whole hair existence. So I'm basically gonna show you something that you guys can do even with your spring curling irons. So with your spring curling irons, you're gonna open up, and everything is gonna be curled back. So we're gonna be curling that way, okay? So we have our one section here, and I'm gonna tilt my head because I don't want to burn my body, and I'm going to lean my head over to the side and start at the top. You're gonna start rolling, and then you're gonna release a little bit and just keep turning it until you reach the end, almost the end. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna start to unravel and then pull through your end like that. And all of a sudden you've got like this half ringlet, half curl, half kind of like spirally wave. It's gonna look really pretty once you comb it out. I wouldn't necessarily call that a beach wave. Beach waves, you would wrap. So I'm gonna show you what a beach wave looks like. Guys, this is where it gets tricky. So if you're using your curling iron as a wand, which you can do, you can either open it up, or if you're lazy like me, I just leave it closed. And I literally just start wrapping it around without letting go of the end of your hair. You almost give it a twist. You're almost twisting it around, and you're leaving the end out. So it's pretty similar, but this gives you more of that beachy wave because you're doing that twist. This one, you're doing a curl. So it really is like up to you what style you want to use. Actually, how about we do the beach wave? It just seems like it's going to be a little bit easier for me to show you guys since you don't have a Marcel iron, and I'm trying to make this as easy as possible for you. So I'm going to recurl this, and you guys can see. As you can see, I am pulling my arm around the back of my body. And you don't have to be super flexible for this. You just have to have a steady hand. So as you can see, I'm rolling from the top with this down. I'm not necessarily moving this arm too much, but I'm just trying to keep an eye on it so I'm not really gonna burn my fingers or my hand. And I'm kind of bringing this around and letting it drop. And then you have this really pretty wavy wave. And for people with hair like me that has a little bit of frizz on the ends, all you have to do to seal those ends is you just open up your curling iron and just give it a nice little smooth over. So nothing too difficult. This is not a hairstyle where your hair has to look absolutely perfect. When you have that little bit of kind of contrast, I guess you could call it contrast in the hair, it makes it look real pretty, real stylish, and it doesn't make it look like you have like ringlety hair. Now you could use this for, you know, if you're dressing formal, you could still have this type of hairstyle. You could even style it and throw it up and you have this beautiful wave. So if you wanted to, you could just pin up your ends, grab some bobby pins and just start pinning up your ends, and it's beautiful. So I'm going to show you how I get to work on this side, just so you can see my body positioning. And then as I work my way up, I'm just gonna pause this and then kind of skip ahead. And I'm just really gonna be on repeat. So go ahead, split that in half. And what I like to do is kind of get it out of the way. I'll stick it under my neck, and then I'll just kind of comb this out with my hands. If you do have a comb, feel free to comb it out if your hair is tangly. So let's show you the body positioning for this as well. So you're gonna wanna tilt your head. You're gonna wanna hold your arm out and back behind you. And you're going to want to face your curling iron parallel to the direction of your head or your face so that you're not burning yourself, so you're not doing something like this. So let's start around the top. I don't get as close to the scalp, only because this side is a little bit hard to maneuver. So once I get it down, I roll it up just a bit so that the curling iron is a little bit closer to the scalp. But this is all I'm doing. Oh, see, I burned myself too. So all I'm doing is just rolling it up so that it can get closer to the scalp. So when you start off, like I was telling you before, you don't have to get too close to the scalp when you first wrap it, because it doesn't give you enough room to wrap it around. So that's when towards the end you can just roll it. All right, so we tilt our head. We keep this parallel to the direction of our face. We wrap it around and then we roll it up just a little bit to get it closer to the scalp. Now for this curling iron, it heats up super fast. So me leaving it on for about 3 to 5 seconds is way more than enough. I hurt myself already. Okay, so this is my end result. I have this really pretty wave that is a little deconstructed, and that's really my style. I love that look. The longer that my hair gets, I have to come up with creative ideas. Like you guys, I don't know if you remember, but I shaved my head many years ago, and it's now growing back. And now that it's getting longer and these really cool, pretty styles are coming out, I get to play. So, all right, I'm going to fast forward, and you guys can just kind of watch, and always remember, same system. We're gonna just keep taking our thumbs, meeting them in the middle, dropping them, putting them in half, and then just kind of taking enough sections that are gonna be easy for you to just really go left to right, and then do that all the way up to the front of your head. So anytime you're taking these sections, you're just taking it from that line and you're taking it all back until you get to the top. And then you have this little section here. All the front is still left alone. Now, if you're having a hard time with doing that, I would suggest, if like staying in that line, I would just suggest you sectioning out the front of your head, putting that in a bun or a ponytail, and then go ahead and do the back of your head. Leave the front section completely sectioned out by itself, if that helps in any kind of way. Like I said, I've been doing this for so long that I just know where to put my fingers, where to start them, and go back like this. So if you're not that, I guess, like good with your hands, do it this way. Section out the front of your head, put it in a pony, and then when you're done with, sectioning off your back sections, just pin this up and get this out of the way. So then you'll have 2 sections pinned out of the way to just kind of keep everything in order for you. Remember, the more that you keep this in order, the more that your hairstyle is going to turn out the way that you planned on it, okay? So I'm gonna fast forward. You guys can go ahead and keep watching. I'm gonna do this in my style just because it's easier for me. But if that helps, hopefully it does. Continue to do it whichever way works for you. So I'm gonna keep going and hope you guys enjoy. Okay, ladies, so we are finally at the front of the hair. As you can see, I tried to just kind of run through the whole thing for you so you can kind of understand your body positioning. And yes, my right arm is really tired right now. So I'm super happy that we're in the front because I want to get this over with. So let me explain the front to you. Now that we're in the front, there's a technique that's a little bit easier, I think, for you guys, is just parting off to the temple, okay? So you've got two sections parted off on the sides, and then you have this big one left on the top. So we're going to, because it's just a lot easier to get these sectioned out now, is just pin this one out of the way. Or pin it, I'm sorry. Fasten it out of the way, rubber band it out of the way to where I look crazy. And now that we're on the sides and we are continuing to make sure that we're rolling back on this side and rolling back on this side, I'm going to talk you through this section, okay? All right, so we've got this nice big rectangular section here, and now we're just gonna kind of get these like in 3 sections here, okay? Whichever way, doesn't have to be perfect like I told you before, just however you however your fingers kind of divide this up, you can do it that way. All right, so we're gonna start in the back section of this section. Flip our arm behind us, point this down, get as close as you can without burning yourself. Keep this as close to the roots as you possibly can, so that if you have frizzy hair like me, the curling iron is smoothing out your hair as well as creating this really pretty texture and curl wave. All right, so I think you guys saw that I had to redo a section on this side, and it's because sometimes we take like too big of a section, which you can kind of see here, and you know it's not right because it's not perfect and shiny like it should be. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of cut this section off a little bit to give it less hair. Clip this out of the way. And now we have a little bit less hair to work with in our, so not necessarily to the temple, but I sectioned it out to about the top of the eyebrow. All right, so that's gonna give me a little bit more of that sealed, shiny look to where it's, once I comb it out, it's not gonna look frizzy. So let's just go ahead and do that section over. And hey, I'm a professional, but shoot, this is hard doing yourself. So I give you guys so much props for trying to learn how to do this and for watching my video and wanting to see like the reality of hairstyling. It's not easy when you're doing it on yourself. It's just not. I could do this all day, every day to my clients, but when you're doing it to yourself, you know, you make mistakes and you have to redo some pieces, and hey, c'est la vie. So voila, now I have, it's not perfect, which I don't care, but I take that back. I do care if it's perfect, but it doesn't have to be a perfect wave. What it does have to be is has to be shiny. It has to look like it's sealed in, like it's not going to be frizzy when I comb that out. So we're just gonna let that sit and cool and be itself and hang out. And because I took up more hair, I don't have to make these sections, you know, I was gonna make this actually one section. I was gonna say not as thin as I was saying before, but I think I'm just gonna go with a thin anyway. So it's not see-through, you guys can see it's a pretty thick section. Some people have a lot thinner hair than me, and that's a-okay. You might only need to have to, you know, fit 2 sections in this sides, which works just as well, but I kind of have thick hair, so just so I can get that real sealed, shiny, smooth hair. That's what I'm looking for. I want smooth hair. I want it to be messy, curly, wavy, but I definitely want the frizz to be gone. So we just gotta let it cool down, and as it cools, it sets. So we don't touch it. All right, so we're on our last side section on my left hand side of my head. So what I had to do as well is I had to kind of leave it on there a little bit longer than I normally would because I am taking big sections. So I'm doing about a 10-second hold, or, you know, look how pretty. See how shiny it is? That tells you that that piece is sealed. There's not going to be a lot of frizz there. And I almost don't even mind that my ends are a little frizzy. Doesn't really bother me, but hey, if it bothers you, all you have to do is you have to take your curling iron and run it through the end. Let it go. Voila, now you have a sealed end, and it's kind of straight. Doesn't have to be curled, because that's not the look that we're going for. So let's flip my little hair bun on the other side. And I think just because I saw how well it worked on this side by making it smaller, I'm going to take off about a ½ inch off the top and pull that back. Now I have a small, maybe even more. because I did say above my eyebrow. So let's pull this all back. Now we have this nice side section on my right hand side. Just gonna comb it out with my fingers a little bit. All right, so this side is always tricky. Okay. I just want to make sure it was thin enough. Still not see-through, but it still feels thin. So I'm gonna point my curling iron down, and I'm almost doing it like parallel to the floor, just so I can get this wrapped around without burning the crap out of myself. And then I'm flipping it back up. I'm sorry, up and down again. So now it's perpendicular to the floor. All right, so now we got that nice little sealed piece there. It's looking beautiful. I'll move that out of the way. We don't want to comb it out or touch it, move it around too much, because we want it to seal and look beautiful. All right, so bringing it back up, wrapping it around, pointing it back down. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm turning it just a little bit to get closer to the root, because I don't want to have frizzy roots. It's just not cute. Oh God, my arm is killing me. Breathe it out, breathe it out. Beauty is pain, beauty is pain. Gorgeous piece, gorgeous piece. See? It's beautiful, it's worth it. Shake your arm out a little bit, get some blood going back into your elbow. Let's flip this way, just so we can get it wrapped around in the direction that we want. And then we can go ahead and turn it just so that we can get this around without burning ourselves, and then flip it so that it's pointing up and down again. I'm really, really, really proud of myself that I only burnt my palm that one time. So success, success. Okay. Voila! Ooh, that one looks funky on the end. You see that? All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this in there and then just run it to the end. There, that doesn't look so crazy. So now that we're at the top, this is our very last section. Hallelujah, because my arms are killing me. Let's go ahead, pop this baby in there. There's that other frizzy piece, other frizzy hair. Okay. So now that we're at the top, this is where you can start getting creative. Okay, do you want a side part? Do you want this all split down the middle? Let's split it down the middle. I personally love a side part. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just start directing my hair in back, starting on this side, because this is where majority of my hair is going to be laying. So let's go ahead and section this out. See, see, see. Now that I'm at the top, I can just use a clip. Okay, I'm just gonna do this in maybe 2 pieces. See how that works out. It's a little bit of a shorter section, so I'm hoping that by me taking 2 sections, it'll, my cord keeps getting wrapped around the knobs on my dresser. Okay, so that'll still smooth. So I'm just gonna actually hold this section a little bit longer, just because it's a teeny bit thicker. But I really don't want to do 3 more sections. Honestly, I'm being lazy. I'm like getting impatient. I'm over it. I love, love, love the way it looks afterward, but the process is painful. So, all right, that should be good. Is it good? Yeah, success. I like it. It works for me. All right, so anyways, anywhere close to your hairline is thinner. It just is. It's great. Not really. And I'm just gonna use a comb because those hairs are a little bit more unruly around my hairline. So I wanna make sure that I have them nice and combed out, nice and smooth before I apply heat. Because if you apply heat to frizzy pieces, you're almost guaranteeing that they're gonna stay in that pattern. So we want to make sure that the pattern that we create with combing the hair through is that it's nice and smooth and straight, and now it's going to do what we want it to do. So I'm kind of pulling this nice and tight. I'm using a little bit of strength to hold it in place and just pulling it around. As you guys can see, it's like a regular curl going back, but because we hang on to the end and we twist it a little bit, we still get that nice pretty wave, but then we also get this smoothed out around the hairline. Voila. Okay, so now that we're done with this section, and I only did the 2 and it actually worked out, so yay. We're just gonna kind of keep going in that, not kinda, we are gonna go in the same pattern. Take another section, going down like this. Looks like I'm splitting it down the middle, but I'm not. That's not the style that I'm gonna wear. I don't know about you guys. I don't look good with a center part. I wish I did. I've tried it many, many times. I think it's just the shape of my face. It's, I don't know. For me, maybe it's just me. Maybe I just don't feel comfortable with it. But once again, I'm gonna start rolling this back. I'm keeping it away from my scalp. I don't know if you guys can tell that. It's still away, but it's gonna give me volume. It's gonna give me a little bit of height so that these waves and these curls are not just falling like super flat and no life. This is intentional. This direction that I'm putting the hair, it's all intentional of the way that I want the end style to be. And this is something that you guys get to play with too. Say you don't want it all going back like this. You can actually take this piece, and instead of going back, you can bring it parallel to the part and wrap it. And it gives you this really cool effect as well, which I'll just show you. So I took that whole section. It was a little bit longer, but it's still small enough to fit in the size of my curling iron. As you can see, it is pretty much the same size of the width of the curling iron that I'm using. So it's safe. It's safe to use this section without it like messing up. Okay. So different effect. Just kind of gives you a little bit more height right here around the face, which is really pretty too. I know I said it not to move these, but that piece was going way too far forward and I didn't want it to set that way. So I separated it and left it kind of like behind everything so that it sets back here. And this piece is a little bit thin and by itself. So I'm gonna give it just a little bit of life. Voila. It doesn't look so crazy once I get this all combed out. Okay. Ow, I burned myself. Please be careful, guys. I always close this because when you're doing a wrap around the curling iron and this is sticking out, it will burn you. It's really hot and I just did that to myself. I burned myself like right there. But it's okay, I'm fine, I'm fine. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep going in that same direction. Actually, this section is a little too thick. Actually, I think it's the same. See, I don't even have to do a bloopers reel. I just have to just play it all the way through. Because I want you to see the reality of styling the hair. It is not the easiest in the world, but it's not impossible. Alright, so we're going to roll this one back. Again, just like we did our first top section. This is our second top section. And I'm going to roll this one back and I'm going to roll the front piece under. So we still get that nice little voluminous swirl in the front. Pretty. So as you can see, this section is a little bit longer, obviously, than this one. And that's because this one is being rolled back and this one is being rolled down. So, front piece again, because of those little baby hairs, I want to make sure that they're combed in there nicely. Ouch! Okay. Faces itchy with all these little hairs. Alright, so let's go ahead, put her under, and hold. Ow, my poor little scalp where I burnt myself. I just got an aloe plant a couple months ago and it is growing like a weed. It's amazing. I have to like repot it now. So if anyone has any tips on how to do that, that would be awesome. Because I am just learning how to have a green thumb. So I want to be a gardener one day. Ooh, how pretty. Alright, so you see how that kind of, whoop, and it goes in my face again. I don't want it going in my face, so I'm going to tuck it back here a little bit. Keep it out of the way. But I like the volume that it's getting. I love the curl that it's creating around my face. It's very, very pretty. So it creates almost like well, it is creating a finger wave. So it's very pretty. If you guys are interested, this is it's real cool because it's sleek and stylish, but it's also disheveled, so you kind of can play with it. If you want it to be a little less perfect than this, you would just hold the curling iron for less time. So I want it to seal the curl. I want it to make the hair perfect and shiny, so I'm holding it in place a lot longer, which is creating a real definitive shape. If you want it a little messier, curl it up, hold it, let it go. That'll create the wave, but it won't create that real perfect sealed look. I hope you guys know what I mean when I'm saying sealed. Okay, so this is a ton on this side, which I never really make my parts this far over. So let's go ahead and give myself a little bit more hair on the right. There we go. It's a very, very deep side part, which I really like. It's because it kind of keeps this hair out of the way, but it gives it just enough volume here. It's where my head isn't looking flat, and then it gives it more personality coming over to the side, and I love that look. So you guys, like I said, play with your part. If you want it a little bit over here, very pretty. If you want it down the middle, very pretty for you, not me. And we just keep playing until we get done. My arms definitely feel better because working towards the front of the hair, you are not doing much of an arm workout. You're kind of just holding things up. Alright, so this is gonna go back just like the other. I hate hair on my lip gloss. Okay. Take my little comb that piece out, and wrap, turn it so it gets a little closer to the scalp. Getting warm, you can feel it. I'm just lining up the curling iron with my part so that I don't get any weird divots. So I'm keeping it as straight as possible with the part. Voila! That's my last piece. Okay, so kind of pulling that over and setting it into the rest of the hair as well. And I'm just pulling these pieces a little bit forward because, like I said, whatever happens, like when it starts to cool, is how your hair is going to set. So you have to be really, really conscious of where you set your hair once it's being, done being curled. I'm gonna do it parallel to this part, going down and under, just to create that little bit of volume that I was saying that I like to have so that the head doesn't look flat. So as you guys can tell, I'm just, oh, get out of my face. Excuse me, I'm twirling this around and keeping it as straight as possible in parallel with the part. It is hot, 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 hot. But I'm almost done, so I'm happy. I'm excited. Okay. All right, so let's drop this piece. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And now we have that nice little bit of volume that I was talking about I wanted to have on the side. So let's kind of blend that with the rest of the hair. Blend, blend, blend. And I can feel it cooling. I have this little frizzy piece here, so I'm just gonna smooth this out by putting it into the curling iron. But so if you guys ever have to touch up your edges, you can if you just kind of comb the hair out a little bit like this, and you take the hot side of the curling iron, that means not the side with the little clamp, and just press a little bit and smooth those pieces with the heat of the curling iron. I know that's not going to work for absolutely everyone, but for the most part it works. Alright, so this is the curled set. If you feel like wearing it, this structured looking, I guess, feel free. It's awesome. I think for me, I'm just gonna finger comb it out a little bit. All right, ladies, so now we are here. We are finishing up, and I love the way that it looks. It looks very polished and pretty, but I want to give it a little bit of my own look and personality. So I'm just gonna comb out some of these pieces. As you can see, you don't have like those perfect ends, which I love. I love that it has that little bit of messiness and that little bit of polish, because that's kind of how I am. A little messy and a little polished. So I hope you guys learned something. If you have any questions or suggestions, or if you want to see another hairstyle, let me know. I hope you guys enjoyed my tutorial. It's going to be fast forwarded, trying to get you past all of the craziness and the process so that this doesn't take as long as all my other videos. This is still a learning process, but hey, we start wherever we are, you know? And I just want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in and being here with me and playing with hair with me and coming up with cool ideas for updos and curling iron styles and all of that. All right, I'll see you guys again soon. Have an amazing week, weekend, holiday, year, all that good stuff. Mwah.